Hello and welcome to Paydirt TV. I'm Dominic Piper. Today we're joined by Andrew Grove, Managing Director of Chester Resources. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dominic.
Momentous week for the company. Maiden resource out for the Diamba Sub gold project in Senegal. Looking at the numbers, they're pretty interesting. What's excited you most about this resource?
Well, it's a great achievement for the business and culmination of about 16 months of work since we found a discovery of the oxide at Area D in about mid-2020. There's been a lot of effort by the team putting the drilling in the site. So it's a 781,000 ounce resource, 16 grams, 1.6 grams per tonne. We should have 16, 1.6 grams per tonne. But you know, it's a pretty quality, robust resource. It's near surface. There's lots of high-grade mineralisation in amongst that. You know, it's got nearly 500,000 ounces at 3 grams per tonne at a 1.5 gram cut-off within that, and nearly 700,000 ounces at 2 grams per tonne within that contained 781,000 ounces.
Yeah. It's the simplicity is something that strikes me when you look at that resource. That, as you say, it's there's a high-grade component, there's oxide material, it's close to surface. Is that what you'll be pursuing in your economic studies? And are you going to do a scoping study now?
Yeah, look, it's got a lot of merits that lay down the foundations for a future development on the site, and we will be pursuing a scoping study as well as aggressively exploring and trying to expand the resource base in around the resource area, plus also wider on the tenement. But you know, the metrics it has that would lead to quite an economic project in the future is it is shallow. 95% of the ounces are within 135 metres. You know, the indicative strip ratio on the optimisations on the resource are 3 to 1. It's 40% oxide. The metallurgy test work we've done, it gives a very high average 96% recovery. There's no impediments on the site to a future development. There's no real competing land use. It's close to national highway, close to water sources. It's a very supportive mining jurisdiction in Senegal. I think all of that will come together in a scoping study and should represent a pretty compelling prospect for future economic development.
So you say come together in a scoping study. Have you set a timeline, time frame in mind for studies and how you develop the project from here?
Well, look, I think we're doing a two-pronged attack. So really, fundamentally, there is enough there for a modest scale project development, we believe, but we also believe there's some very easy opportunities to grow the resource base. You know, on strike at Area A on the high-grade horizontal chute, it's open along where those structures intersect the favourable rock units. It's also open on the southwest and northwest of Area D oxide that needs follow-up. You know, we excluded those from the resource, but they do optimise if we had included those. So we're aggressively exploring doing the exploration, growing the resource. In the background, we'll do the scoping study. So look, you know, we envisage having results from that in early next year.
It's for a junior company, West Africa and Senegal in particular is a remarkable place to do exploration. I seen in the announcement the discovery costs are about $11 an ounce. I mean, yeah. You can't even get a drill rig per metre for $11 an ounce at the moment here in Western Australia. Is that an advantage for a company like Chester that you're able to do low risk and also low cost exploration?
Well, I think it comes down to the quality of the mineralisation and the grade of the mineralisation. So if you find a good ore body with high grades, each drill hole adds a lot more ounces than the sort of a big low grade system. And also we believe that, you know, there's better opportunities in parts of Africa to find these deposits as it's less well explored than it is in, say, outback Kalgoorlie.
There's a lot of activity in West Africa as a region at the moment from an ASX perspective, but in particular where you are in that eastern Senegal region, there's plenty of activity as well. Yes. Barrick Gold are obviously drilling away there. Does that fill you with confidence that you're onto a district that's prospective? Yeah, no,
I think it's a highly prospective region and it's coming to bear fruit now. You know, it's on the Senegal side of the Senegal-Mali shear zone. In Mali, that hosts Lulu, Gonkoro, Fekola, world-class ore bodies, and the Senegal side have been historically less well explored through, you know, an idea that was on a footwall of the shear zone. But I think that model's moving away, and we're getting a lot more attention into, on the Senegal side, it's the same host rocks as those other deposits I have. Barrick are very keen, and their quarterly results that came out a couple of weeks ago actually changed the wording's changed a bit, so they've actually declared a emerging discovery at KB West, which is 5 kilometres northeast of our tenement boundary. Looks very similar to Area A, same host rock, same alteration systems. Structurally, we think it's sort of similar, but it's very complex. The structural area, structures in that area are quite complicated, and they do drive the higher grade mineralisation. So it is evolving to be, potentially host world-class ore bodies in the area. And it's on a footprint of about 15 by 15 kilometres of anomalous gold mineralisation, bounded by some regional structures. So that's a pretty impressive gold anomaly for us geologists, and we've got a fair chunk of that. So we're pretty keen on and excited about the prospects of finding more gold and the wider tenement.
It seems investors are also excited by the prospects because the share price has had a good run of late, and in fact, in keeping with a number of West African explorers, do you think there's been a bit of a step change in the market's perception of West African gold exploration and even gold mining stocks?
Yeah, well, I think they're proving their worth. I think still investors are a bit Africa's unknown to them, but they're proving their wealth in terms of the producers, WAF and Perseus. They're producing better margins than most of the Australians, and there's a lot of discoveries going on in West Africa. Quite significant discoveries, and Predictive's one of those. We think we've found an excellent project that will be developed into a mine. Barrick's finding stuff on our boundary. Iron Gold's got their Boto project 50 k's to the south. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to be found. So I think that's driving some of the enthusiasm.
It certainly is plenty of enthusiasm out there. Andrew, what can we expect from Chesser in the next 6 or 12 months? Can we see, as you mentioned, you've got a lot of exploration ground there. Can we see more results coming out of that?
Yeah, look, we just recently finished 4,000 metres, focusing on 3 of the prospective targets on our Diamba Sud tenement away from the resource areas, Area H, F and Western Splay. We should be getting those results back in the next few weeks or so, so we're hoping that some of those will bear fruit, and they're drilling around historical drill holes that have all grade intercepts, so we'd expect to see some mineralisation come out of that. We'll start a 15 to 20,000 metre drill program in January, so we'll see a lot of results come out of that one. We've also, the scoping study will come out early in the new year, and we're actually starting some regional exploration on our Diamba Nord tenement in the next few weeks as well, but it's earlier stage exploration, and we're hoping to get a couple of exploration licence applications granted this year, which will allow us to have that sort of exploration opportunity to find new things, while we're also focusing on fully testing and delineating the Diamba Sud project.
Well, it sounds like you've got a full dance card of project work to get on with. Andrew, thanks for joining us today, and congratulations on the maiden resource, and we'll be sure to keep an eye out for any updates that are coming out in the next 6 months or so. Thank you.
No worries, thank you.